Hey guys, it's Tim again. I was watching Morgan's maintenance video the other day. He had just gotten, I believe it's called the Vera Cyclops. It's the 3/8 driver, basically a ratchet that swivels around, and you can also put bits in it. And he had asked, what do you use or what would you use instead of this? And immediately what came to mind is this Felo Ergonic uh, ratcheting screwdriver. And the reason I thought about this tool is it's so versatile. I want to show you guys some of the things it can do. Basically, I feel like it's a whole mechanic set in your pocket, basically, especially if you pair it with some sockets. So let me adjust the camera. We'll open some of these tools up and I'll show you what this thing can do. Okay, so this is not your average ratcheting screwdriver. You probably already saw me playing with this. This is a pivoting, locking ratchet screwdriver. It pivots at 90 degrees both sides and at 45 degrees both sides. And that's a really handy feature because it almost turns it into, it's not low profile, but it turns it into somewhat of a ratchet handle if you use all sorts of different adapters with it. I'll show you how I use mine. I keep this Klein Tools flip socket in here. Why? Because it holds a bit. And it gives you two different magnetic bit holder or nut drivers. Very handy. It has a locking collet, forward reverse, and a lockout switch. That's important. I know on Last Best Tools channel, Doc always says that he likes to be able to lock his screwdriver out. And that's important because you can do fine adjustment with your fasteners. You could put a regular impact, let's see, or 1/4-inch collet bit in here, no problem. It's a good length for it to a 3-inch bit. It will not accept, let's see, the regular 1/4-inch bits for the most part. It will pull out. The ball bearing doesn't really retain it in there. You could use it that way if you needed to. This is actually a 4mm bit adapter, but it's not ideal. Now what you could do is put a socket adapter in here, very handy, and use it with your sockets. Try to get one out. This is kind of my do everything socket set in a pack out here. Okay, you can adjust it depending on what clearance you need. Sometimes I use the 45-degree mode because then your knuckles aren't dragging against what you're working on. This is a nice beefy ratcheting mechanism. This pivot is super strong. When you push this, see if you can see it with the camera, when you push this detent down, it moves that big ball bearing out of the way. So it would be very difficult to get this thing to slip out of place. Now I will show you one area where it's not the most precise, but it's not really a big deal to me. So use it with a socket adapter. Maybe that's not low profile enough. You could use the Milwaukee socket adapters. Let's see. I don't know if I have another one in here, but you guys get the idea. You could then use it with 1/4-inch, 3/8 sockets, whatever. This is a good option. It's made in Germany. It's, I think, $33 or something, and it is also available with a belt pouch kit that has socket adapters, I think nut setters and bits that work with it. Another option would be to use a swiveling 3/8 ratchet. I really like this Milwaukee one because the head is so small compared to, a regular 3/8 ratchet. This is more the size of a 1/4-inch ratchet, but with a 3/8 head. And you can make this work for you a lot of different ways. If you have, let's see, besides with your regular sockets, if you have a bit driver adapter, this is the wrap adapter one, then you can pop a bit in here. With the swiveling, you can use it like this as a driver. Now, like with that Cyclops set, you can't lock it out, so it's only forward or reverse. But with a ratchet, that's not usually a big deal. And this Milwaukee set actually did come with a more low profile bit holder that you could just put the 1-inch bits in. But I think I have that out in another kit or in the garage. But you know, you get the idea. You don't have to use an expensive adapter like this, but this is a little heavier duty. It locks in here better, and it has the wrap adapter to lock your bits. With something like this, you can use any size bit, which is nice. And then having the 3/8 head, you know, you can adjust down to 1/4 inch, or you can run different extensions on it. So, you know, is that Vera worth the money? In my opinion, I don't think so. Just because it doesn't have some of the features of this. It doesn't even have some of the features of their ratcheting handle, where you can lock this one out, and it has a locking bit holder, so you can put extensions in this. Oops, didn't lock. There it goes. You can put extensions in this that lock. That's really handy to me. But I do get the idea of having an all-in-one tool would be nice. As long as you're not worried about needing something really low profile, you can get a lot of torque with this thing. And if you use different bit adapters, you can run whatever socket you need. I think that's a good option. I'll show you this little guy too. This is the Titan swiveling 1/4 inch ratchet if you need to get in even smaller spaces. And I run this with the 1/4 inch Makita sockets, but pretty low profile. But let me know what you guys think. What is your, you know, toolbox in one pocket? Because this for me is the solution. I keep this with my plumbing tools. I use it on fittings, and then I also run a bit in it. So that makes it nice. One thing with this, I have noticed, you will get some bit wobble. So if you can see that, like that. That's kind of inherent with any ratcheting mechanism, but this one, it is particularly loose. That doesn't really bother me because you're not spinning this thing at high speeds. The ratchet mechanism is nice and fine and smooth, and the pivot is very strong, and that's the two things I'm looking for. Because you're not driving large fasteners with something like this. Usually your wrist will get tired out. And one other thing I appreciate, it has a nice squishy rubber overmold for the handle. I think that's where the Ergonic comes from. That's this line of handles. Probably one of the most comfortable screwdriver handles I've used. A lot of people like the Vera, but it has a lot of hard points on it. This whole thing is grippy and squishy, so you can get a nice grip on it. Now it is pretty thin down here. Some people may not like that, but I think it's pretty good. So yeah, let me know. What do you guys think of some of these German tools? Do they have a place for the handyman, for the do-it-yourselfer, for the homeowner? I just like playing with nice tools. You guys know that. Yeah, let me know down in the comments.